Okay, so today is the 31st, the last day of the month, so today is Proverbs chapter 31, the last chapter of Proverbs. So this last one's a very interesting chapter. It actually was not written by Solomon, it was written by King Lemuel. Sorry if I butcher that name. But this is kind of a different book, or not book, chapter, sorry. The first 9 verses are kind of directed towards Lemuel or men in general, but it's mainly directed towards Lemuel. And then 10 through 31 is kind of a gist of what a God-fearing woman should look like. So it's a very interesting book, chapter. It's probably one of the most confusing in my opinion, but it's still got a lot of good stuff in it, so we'll jump right into it. The words of King Lemuel, an oracle that his mother taught him. What are you doing, my son? What are you doing, son of my womb? What are you doing, son of my vows? Do not give your strength to women, your ways to those who destroy kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, or for rulers to take strong drink, lest they drink and forget what has been decreed, and pervert the rights of all the afflicted. Give strong drink to the one who is perishing, and wine to those in bitter distress. Let them drink and forget their poverty, and remember their misery no more. Open your mouth for the mute, for the rights of all who are destitute. Open your mouth, judge righteously, defend the rights of the poor and the needy. An excellent wife who can find? She is far more precious than jewels. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not harm all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax, and works with willing hands. She is like the ships of the merchant. She brings her food from afar. She rises while it is yet night, and provides food for her household and portions for her maidens. She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hand she plants a vineyard. She dresses herself with strength and makes her arms strong. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. Her lamp does not go out at night. She puts her hands to the distaff, and her hands hold the spindle. She opens her hand to the poor and reaches out her hands to the needy. She's not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household are clothed in scarlet. She makes bed coverings for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them. She delivers sashes to the merchant. Strength and dignity are her clothing. She laughs at the time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household, and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceitful, and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates. There's a lot to take out of that, and we actually went over this in Sunday school this morning, so I'm going to be able to share quite a lot, and it's all thanks to our wonderful lead pastor, so thank you to him. But I'll start with verse, let's see, where is it? Verse 21. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household are clothed in scarlet. And then we're going to jump over to, if I can find it, 25. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at the time to come. Those 2 verses are basically saying she's not worried about the future. She's not worried about what's to come. She's not anxious. She doesn't have anxiety about any of it. And that's a big problem in our society today. We are anxious about everything, and we get overwhelmed way too easy. When we commit to something, we commit to it. We don't just back down. Now, don't get me wrong, if there's like a big family emergency or something incredibly big comes up, then yeah, that takes priority. But if you commit to something, you need to follow through as best you can. And if complications arise, you can't just bail. You have to stick to that commitment no matter what, even if it is a big thing. It's too easy to get overwhelmed these days, and when we get anxiety like that and we just bail, all we do is we're being lazy and throwing that responsibility and commitment onto someone else. We're making life harder for someone else, and that's not right. It's just laziness, and it's hard to hear. You might not like to hear it. You probably don't, but that's what it is. It's laziness. And we all do it. I've done it several times. Also comes with procrastination. If you procrastinate, that causes anxiety, which leads to you bailing, which leads to commitment issues, which leads to it being thrown on someone else's shoulders. So that's a big thing that we need to take away from this, is that we can't just be anxious about the future, and we can't just procrastinate about the future either, because that's going to lead to the anxiety. And I know procrastination is hard. I procrastinate all the time. Last year in school, I would procrastinate homework until 10 o'clock at night, and then I would just say, oh, it's too late, I'll just go to bed and do it in the morning. And then I would scramble, get to school, and have 30 minutes to do my homework, and it would be sloppy, unprepared, and it's just not good. And even writing my Devo for the missions trip, I procrastinated, which I probably shouldn't have. It kind of worked out, but that's all thanks to God, and that's not always going to happen. Procrastination is a hard thing to deal with. The next thing we're going to look at, which is I always find very interesting about this chapter, is the 4 through 9. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, or for rulers to take strong drink, lest they drink and forget what has been decreed, and pervert the rights of all the afflicted. Give strong drink to the one who is perishing, and wine to those in bitter distress. Let them drink and forget their poverty, and remember their misery no more. We'll stop there and just talk about that. So, his mom is saying, basically, we are not to take strong drink and just drink our sorrows away. That's irresponsible. We need to take responsibility. We're supposed to leave that for the poor, the ones who are in pain, the ones who have nothing, and give them little joy for what they have. Kind of. It's really confusing, but 8 and 9 is open your mouth for the mute, for all those who are destitute. Open your mouth, judge righteously, defend the rights of the poor and the needy. So, that one is very important. It's basically saying we need to stand up for others and we need to help them all the time. Not just sometimes or when we feel like it, but all the time. We need to help out the poor, the ones who can't stand up for themselves, and we need to judge righteously. We need to know all the facts. We can't just jump in there and say, okay, well, you look guilty, so you're guilty. That's lazy. It's the easy way out, and it's not right. We're supposed to judge righteously, and we're supposed to defend the rights of the poor and the needy, the ones who can't help themselves. We're supposed to help. So there's just a lot in this. It's just a lot to take in, and that's all I'm going to go over for 31. I'm not going to do Proverbs again and again and again, because that's just going to be repetition, but I do challenge you to read a chapter of Proverbs every day of the month, and I'm still going to keep doing that. I'm going to do it one more month, and video it, and post it, but after that, it's going to be all on me and all on you, so hopefully you stick to that. Proverbs is a really great book, and it's just full of wisdom for everyday situations in everyday life, and it's really awesome. But I'm gonna read it one more month through the month of August, and then I'm gonna think about starting same thing, going through a chapter a day, but I'm going to do that in a different book. I haven't decided what book. If you have suggestions, just tell me what book you want me to go over in the comments. If not, I'll pick a random book, but I'm going to try and do 2 a month maybe. I don't know how that's going to work out because I'm going to start band camp this next week, starting it tomorrow actually. Then I have cross-country practice, and then I'm going to have work start up again because I'm back from the missions trip, and then school's going to start soon, so I'm going to be a lot busier, but I'm still going to try and keep at least one video uploaded a day. There are going to be days where I can't because I'll just be too busy, especially with school starting. I'm going to be a little stressed out about that because I have a lot going for me this year. It's my senior year, and I have a lot of hard classes. I have a lot of college classes that I need to pay close attention to. But I'm going to try at least once a month. I'm probably going to decide either tomorrow or Tuesday what book I'm going to go over. I'm thinking about I'm thinking about the Old Testament, probably one of the prophets. I'm thinking about either Hosea, Amos, Joel, Obadiah, somewhere in there. I don't know yet, but there's a lot to go over. Daniel, Isaiah, Ezekiel, Lamentations, Song of Solomon, Ecclesiastes, so I'm going to start somewhere. I don't know quite yet, but I'm going to try and stick to the Old Testament for now. I'm not going to go straight towards the New Testament quite yet, because that's a little bit above what I can do right now. But I'm going to keep studying, and hopefully I'll be there someday, and I'll start on the New Testament books. But for now, that's pretty much it. The challenge for today is every month to keep reading Proverbs, just one chapter a day, and honestly, it's not that hard. It takes me like maybe 1 or 2 minutes, but I'm also a fast reader, so it's like 5-10 minutes out of your day. It's not that much. Do it in the morning when you can, at night before you go to bed. Just a little devo, a little time with God. It's just one chapter. Go over it, pick what you think is interesting, and look over it, and then go to bed. And that's pretty much it. It's just a little time with God, and that's very important. So that is my challenge for tonight. I'm gonna talk about how band camp goes and cross-country practice goes tomorrow. We'll read Proverbs 1, and then I will see if anybody has commented about a new book. If not, I'm gonna start thinking about which book I want to go over. So that's all I have. I challenge you to read Proverbs, one chapter every day of the month, and just keep going throughout all the months. It's always been really helpful for me, and I know it'll be helpful for everyone who does it. So that's all I have. Later.